Hello and welcome back to UniSport Nationals here in Canberra at the ANU, hosted by ULTI.TV, or streamed by ULTI.TV I should say, here on Ngunnawal and Ngambri land. My name is Katie.
My name is Cecilia.
And we'll be your commentators for this game.
This will be a very exciting one. We are watching the 9th and 10th place match take place. We've got the University of Western Australia versus Monash University.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. We haven't seen UWA so far on the streaming, so I haven't personally had a look at what their team is like. But we saw Monash yesterday, and they fought very hard to take away the win in a tight game with the University of Adelaide. And we saw them playing through a lot of their players, which helped them to get that win, I think.
I'm very excited. I really like this uniform that the University of WA have. We've got some Indigenous artwork on their uniforms, and it's a striking blue and yellow.
It's quite nice. And like yesterday, sometimes for us the Monash numbers are difficult to read, so apologies if we do get names wrong as the pool goes up and UWA is first to take an offensive in this game here. Both teams out of contention for the finals, but playing for their team here. And a huge throw down to the end zone for UWA, but we've got two players chasing it and they just can't get there. Great rundown from both of those players there. It was number 24, I think, for UWA, but I can't quite, must have misread his number there. 36, totally off. Vincent was running that down for UWA.
And their main guy keeping track and right up there next to him, just in case.
As we see Monash setting up what looks like a stack with a player out in the lane here, potentially trying to get that first undercut. Cutting hard, and she does get free, and the throw goes up, but just unfortunately slips through her fingers. That's always really frustrating as a player when you make such a good cut there. UWA looking to get it off the sideline, sending it across to the other side of the field, and just too high for number 22, Tan, to be able to bring that down. Huge throw here from Monash with a receiver there, but we've got a defender as well, and he has to jump early.
That was a great catch from Bat there. He was doing a lot of big, wide receiving, but it looks like there's a quick turn. He threw it to the end zone and didn't quite make it to the player he intended.
There was a few quick turns there for both teams, throwing that leading pass back out to Bat.
Let's see if this throw comes off the way he intends. Great dump, and he's back out there running to the end zone.
That was Huang with the Frisbee. Back to Huang. Monash looking to work through the depth of their roster. We know that they are a strong team.
Lee with a great put to the end zone. Not quite there yet, but it was a great catch.
Just over the head of Van Berkel, unfortunately there. So close, as close as you can get to scoring. And just that wind, which it's still not too windy today, but it is picking up a little bit from this morning. Kind of, once again, coming across the field. And another overthrow. Monash bats it out of the sky for another chance.
Great D from main guy, being in the right position at the right time. Huang looking at his dump handler, and then she sends it out into the open space to Van Berkel. Oh, is that a goal?
Great backup there from Van Berkel. Van Berkel's whose head it went over from her teammate.
Beautiful catch from Kondituaku. She's done a great job bringing it down for a goal. I think there was a few mess-ups earlier in the point there with the potential assist and a slip-up further down towards WA's end, but she's made it up with a beautiful goal.
She's done well. And Monash scores the first point for this game. Scoreboard on the field yet to be updated. UWA going to look to come out strong here after that first point from Monash. But It will be interesting to see how they set up their offense here, UWA, having not watched them play before. We've seen most teams coming out in either a vert, stack or a horror today.
We haven't seen any zones yet. I don't think the wind conditions are quite there yet.
We've seen a couple of, not necessarily a traditional pommy zone, but a bit of a zone look from a couple of teams in the earlier game when the wind did pick up, and both Deakin and the other team that USyd, both Deakin and USyd did use those zones to slow down the flow of play in the previous game.
It's great to see the whole team getting around, listening in what the coach has to say, making sure they understand what the play is here and if that's applicable to the next point. It's always good to know what to cheer for as well. So if you know which side you're standing mark on, what side the players downfield are defending, it's all good. So then you can give that support from the sideline as well.
Great pull there from Monash. UWA on the sideline. And we've got number 1 Ling from UWA and just through the hands of number 27 Teo. Unfortunate there for UWA. Monash looking to break here. We know that they are capable of it. And UWA with a tight mark. Can he get it again? Keeps the Monash player out of the way. Great job there from UWA to get that back really quickly.
It was an unfortunate throw from O'Connor there, but we'll see how this one goes.
Nice under there from number 12, Graham. Back to the centre. Great hands there from number 19. UWA looking strong, showing those classy throws straight to the player's chest. Not giving the defence much of a sniff. 27, once again, a huge bid from Monash to knock that one, deny that scoring opportunity for UWA.
It was a great cut from Liao, number 14, but unfortunately we had, I believe, number 1 Huang jump out and get that beautiful layout D. I think he'll be pretty happy to watch that one back on camera.
Always good to have some cool stuff on the live stream as we see Monash with the Frisbee again, another break chance. UWA working hard to get that Frisbee back. Monash working out of a vert stack.
And it looks like we have a call.
Players just talking it out here. I'm not entirely sure what's happened.
I think we've also got someone tying their shoelaces down there. I think that's all crisscross and done.
Good time to do it as Monash has got the Frisbee. Payne with the Frisbee on the sideline. Seems like there was a pick call earlier. I'm not sure if it affected this play, but it seems like players down there have stopped, so maybe we'll let them catch up. See one UWA player out in the middle here. Might be a bit of a mismatch with their defense. I think they're going for a match look. She's going to want to bust it deep. Try and cover that player out in the back of the end zone. And we do have this mismatch here. 43. Across to the far side of the field for Monash. Nice little over the top, high release. We've seen a few of those today. Great cut there from O'Connor. Really burning her defender. Into the middle, 39. Back to O'Connor. Monash scrambling a bit, but just can't quite get it. Well, he gets a hand to it, but kind of bats it away from himself.
It looked like a D to me.
It almost did from this angle. I'm sure that's not what he was intending.
Absolutely not.
But it can be hard running at speed to get your hand in the right spot sometimes with UWA working from a stack, cutting from the back. Classic ultimate move. We've got somebody going along, but coming back under. A little bit too high, and Monash capitalises there. Monash with another chance to break. Number 80, Jazzle on the sideline looking for a dump reset. Gets one from number 39 with it up in the air, and it's just too far out in front for the receiver to get there. We can see that these players might be getting a little bit tired, Cece.
I believe so. I think there's been a lot of turnovers in this point. I think we need to see both teams be a bit more calm, a bit more collected with the disc. Let's see if UWA are able to score their O point in this moment.
Great undercut there from number 12, Graham for UWA. Sends the flick, and wow, bit of a, more like an AFL layout there from number 27. That was Teo. He's done well so far in the game, but unfortunate not to grab that one. Payne with the Frisbee over to a receiver in the end zone with lots of space, and Monash scores the first break of the game.
Beautiful grab from Allen there. I believe this is setting the tone for the next steps to come. In the last game, we did talk about how your first few beginning points can set the mood for your team and can really affect how the progression of the game goes.
Exactly. We have seen today in both games, actually, that the teams that did get the first few breaks ended kind of going on a bit of a break train, as we call it, and taking a big lead going into half. And then in the second half, the other team would kind of come back, but that leading team had probably already a few too many breaks on them from the first half. So definitely important to get a good early start in the game.
I believe in University of WA. I think they'll do a great job. We are seeing them move the disc all the way to the other end. It's just a matter of maybe getting the cohesion. I'm not sure if they just played the game earlier or if they had a break in the morning and so they haven't quite had to warm up yet, but I think they'll do great.
And a lot of the UWA players have great colourful socks on, a rainbow.
I love it.
As we see Monash getting ready, talking tactics on the line. The coach there for Monash, Van, doing well for the team. And UWA also has a coach here, Robertson, doing a lot for the players, maybe not getting all of the glory. We're going to have, I think this is Bats with the pull for Monash, sending it deep into their end zone, but it's fading out for a brick.
I think we do have a bit of a wind in that direction, and so it's been picked up and taken away.
Right.
I believe that's Lynn with the disc.
Monash setting up a little bit of a zone here. See how UWA responds, and Monash attacking really early there, getting that really quick turn. UWA maybe not aware that that player was in there ready for that short pass. To see Monash going for it, Bat with the disc. Sending it into the end zone, and a huge grab from Bat. Wow. Goal for Monash.
That was a quick break, another quick break.
3-0 to Monash. Great job from Bat there with the green hat and the, it's not confetti, I'm trying to think of the word, ribbons on the hat.
And I believe that was Chu with the assist. We do have a bit of glare looking out in the distance, looking at that team with the grey and the white. It's really hard, Monash. I believe next time, I think we personally would love maybe contrasting colours, maybe slightly darker grey, or maybe the outline in black, a bit bolder.
That would make it easier for us commentators here. Difficult to see here in the sun.
And it looks like it's a timeout.
Yeah, just zooming in on those rainbow UWA socks. We'll have to ask the players. Could be pride socks representing the LGBTQI plus community, but I will have to check that.
Did you do any fun, wear any fun, like socks or bracelets or head scarves in any of the teams that you've played with? Because I sure have.
Trying to think, we used to have, I know Wollongong has a few different kind of awards they give out every day, and you wear a different hat depending on whether you get that award for doing something silly or doing something really cool on the field. But they're not very good to play in those ones.
I see.
No, what about you?
When I played with Zig Theory at Div 2 a while back, we tie-dyed some socks in our team colours, and everyone wore those socks on the game days. And then I think we've made bracelets, and I think we've coordinated a headscarf at one point as well.
It's a nice little way to bring the team together.
Absolutely.
As we see the teams heading back to the lines after this half-time. Monash there looking to continue with this momentum that they have built, but UWA are definitely not giving it up easily. They've had great connections down the field and just a couple of good blocks from Monash to stop that flow for UWA. We'll see how UWA responds to this zone. Of course, the Western Australia players probably coming from quite a long way from Canberra, other side of the country. So we appreciate them coming out here, as they often have to do for many of the Frisbee tournaments that are held on the East Coast.
It's quite expensive to fly out, and they've got a quite big of a squad. I really like to see the turnout like this.
Yeah, it's probably like a good, fun week of holiday, Frisbee and friends as well.
Have you been to WA before, Katie?
I have not been to the Uni Games there. I know they held Uni Games there a few years ago. I've been there on a few holidays, and it is a very, very nice place.
I agree. I love WA. I love Perth. I think it's a beautiful place. Highly recommend it to all those listening if you haven't been before.
Okay, Monash with the pull. UWA looking to get their first points on the board for this 9th, 10th placing game. Their last game for the tournament, so maybe a little bit bittersweet. As the pool goes up, going to go a little bit short, giving UWA a little bit of an advantage here. What can they do with it? UWA working again from that vert stack. We do see with teams that can play from a few different types of offensive looks that they have a bit more versatility. Disc is up in the bit of a collision there. There's a few players going for that disc. It was a bit of a floaty pass, which can often lead to contact like this, although it is everyone's responsibility to try and avoid it as best as possible.
On the replay there, we've got about 5 players under the disc, all coming from different directions.
Always makes it tricky. Turn stands, Monash with the disc.
But the D stands. Beautiful grab from the Monash player.
Bid there on the mark from UWA, really trying to get that back. And a huge read there from number 19 of UWA, Pemberton.
All right, and so now we'll see Leo pick up the disc and we'll see what happens here. Looking at our options downfield, back and centering to Ling. Back to Ling again, and then just bobbles out of the hands of 29 Openshaw there and into the hands of the Monash player, I believe, which is 42, main guy.
Unlucky there for UWA. They did everything else to perfection.
Just like I said earlier, they're playing great Frisbee out there. They're bringing it all the way up to that end zone and just not being able to put it in.
As we see the disc on the sideline with Monash and sending it long. Number 42 chasing it down, and he just slips over. I think he thought it was going a bit longer than he expected at first. And unfortunate there, cleats slipping out of the ground.
He was well far away from his player. He had a great read of the disc, the handler, sending it down. Knew exactly what to do, but I think execution just didn't come through there.
Throw might have been a little bit shorter than intended. As we see UWA once again from the stack. Monash doing well to stop that. They seem to have been using it maybe a little bit of a fem zone, which can be useful in mixed Frisbee, but there is a turn. And we're going to go from the
What's
sideline.
happened here? Oh, we've got a beautiful hand block there. And now it's picked back up, passed on down, and put in.
Huge grab there from the Monash player.
Another break.
That was a great throw, and Monash did well to bring that one down. We'll see if we can see who that was.
I believe that was main guy. Number 42 there. They did a nice little tight stack on the other side of the field, making all this wide, clear space for main guy to run in and grab that disc.
Yeah, Monash, the downfield probably trying to keep most of their players out of the way to give room to that isolated player. As we see some head scratching going on from some of the Wollongong players preparing for their final later in the day. Everyone very relaxed out here today.
Yes, it must be part of the strategy to win.
You've got to be relaxed. You've got to be having fun.
You've got to be having fun. Those little head scratches. Does the job.
Monash team getting around each other, all standing on the line, hearing the call so that they can echo anything, any strategy from the sideline. Always very useful to have those sideline players echoing calls, giving you information on where the offense is.
Just because they're ahead doesn't mean you can't be serious. Doesn't mean you have to give it away.
Yes, very important not to get complacent. As we see, that's where other teams can make big comebacks. As the disc goes up for Monash. That was Forbes with the pull. There's a women matching or women identifying point. So we've got 4 women, 3 men on each team. And then that will alternate through the game. Even field time for everybody. As Monash is trapping UWA down here with a bit of a zone. UWA probably needing to try and swing that disc, get some movement through those handlers and try and punch through there, which they do very, very well. And here's a chance for UWA. And they treasure the disc, which I think was probably a good choice there. We often see people getting a bit huck happy.
So we've got Lynn with the disc, and then over to Deacon. Deacon in centre in the middle, looking at the options, looking at DS. Over to DS. Oh, it just comes off number 11 there, but he manages to pick it back, right back up, down to 22. Back to Deacon. Deacon over to DS. DS back to Deacon. Throw it over to the other side to Lynn. Looking at her options there. Got to cut her up into the circle. A nice dump back there and a swing over to DS.
UWA working well here, being nice and patient through this Monash zone. Lots of touches on the disc, lots of chances, and Payne is there ready for that throw.
Again, just as a right outside the end zone. It's just, I think, maybe the momentum from the Monash team has really gotten to them. You're just right there, and so you just get a little bit rushed towards the end. But that's okay. I'm sure they'll get it back, and we'll see some beautiful goals from the UWA team.
As we see Monash with the disc again, working it back to the centre of the field. Forbes out to Chin, and that's number 39.
I think UWA has a bit of a zone going on. We've got 3 women in this cup that they've made.
That's right. They could be putting some tall people in the end zone to try and get the grab if that long throw does come up, which we've seen Monash doing, and it's been a way they've scored a number of their goals. Huge bid there, but slight misread. Monash punching through, looking dangerous now, and bit of a miscomms there, giving UWA a chance.
That's okay. DS made sure it went down, put his body over the disc, just in case there's a quick grab from one of the other players, because there was quite a few people around the disc. And now we've got UWA trying to work the disc back up.
Great throw there. Monash also putting on a similar zone to UWA. Both of them recognising that slight bit of wind that's around. UWA, can they convert this one? They've been so close so many times. Stopping that around throw, but great flick there, lots of touch. Nice give goes. Who's that? Number 6, Deacon, for UWA with the Frisbee. Might be a little bit of a call here, just a bit of contact off the disc. Uncontested foul.
Oh no, I think it's actually a trip over the other players in the back.
Okay.
Diaz has got the disc, sends us back to Lynn. Lynn looking down the field to see what options she has from her poppers and deeps. But then back to Deacon. These 3 handlers have quite a lot of cohesion. Oh,
Hammer
and a
over the top, and just too far. That was a very quick hammer. Would have been very, very difficult to catch. She was in the right position for it, though. It's quite a long throw, too. Just unfortunate she was maybe not a couple steps back.
Yes, that was Robson in the right position, but not quite as tall as I think Diaz would have liked her to be.
As we see Monash bringing it up to the end zone line. UWA, I think, once again, putting on that zone. It worked well for them last time. Got a tall receiver down in the end zone. Monash streaking deep, and the throw just turns over in the air.
I think that flick didn't quite come off the way she intended.
Both teams here looking like, you know, the throws are becoming sometimes the reason that the turnovers are happening. It's not necessarily forced. So let's see if they can rein it in.
It looks like we've had a change in wind direction, though. There is a downfield.
Wow, great grab there.
Wind
Boxing
and
out the
Diaz.
opponents, and a huge throw up, down into the end zone for UWA. And he grabs it.
Beautiful grab there.
UWA on the board.
So a beautiful throw from Diaz, and we'll figure out who has caught the disc for us here.
And UWA team celebrating that, getting around each other. Great grab there, and great way that number 3, Diaz, he really boxed out the Monash player Payne.
Vincent there with the grab. I think UWA will be very happy to have one on the scoreboard. I think that really boosted confidence in the team, and I think they're all really excited and ready to go for the next one.
Yeah, well, they definitely deserve it. They've been really close a number of times. Finally getting one all the way through for UWA. With a great throw and great grabs. UWA will come out with that zone again. So we're just having a bit of communication about what the gender split is going to be for this point. So coaches were just having a bit of communication about what the gender split is going to be for this point. Onus of both of the teams to keep track whether there should be 4 women or 4 men on the field. We alternate, roughly speaking. And sometimes that can be difficult to keep track of. So coaches just talking about that, but we seem to have figured it out. Ultimate, one of the few sports that's played at the highest level in a mixed environment. Makes it quite unique.
That was number 12, Graham, sending the pull-up to Monash. This will be their first time playing defense.
See how we go. UWA looking like they're setting up a zone here. They are. Looks like a bit of a traditional pommy cup, we call it. So 4 people in that cup. But Monash doing well to get it off that sideline that UWA was trying to trap them on. Swinging it back over, close there from number 27, Teo, but not to be. Well, Western Australia holding that zone, but Monash looking quite calm, working it through. Nice flat throws coming to the chest. Great block there from number 23. That's Ganesen from UWA. There looked like there was going to be a gap through that cup, but she just ate that up as soon as they tried to throw through.
It was a great run through D.
UWA once again with the cut from the back. Number 12, he's done a lot of those. Graham, great first cuts to number 27, Teo. We're seeing that happen quite a little bit, those two working together. And just out of the reach of number 19, Pemberton. He had his hands to it, but it's coming at a decent speed. UWA looking to set this zone up again. Monash swings it around. Great job to break that mark. UWA changing up the force here. I think they might be forcing towards the sideline, which can be useful as we see that overhead coming through. Player out here calling for it, but UWA recognizing, coming out of position, and the confusion leads to a turnover. UWA really getting in the heads of Monash here, I think, with this zone look, making them have to choose other options. Got one handler behind the disc here, sending it long to Teo. Is he going to get there? And he does! Huge grab there from Teo, with a great throw from number 14 for UWA, Liao. I think they might have set that up in advance. UWA.
We've been given the wrong credit there. It looks like UWA have 2 number 27s. Oh. So this number 27 is actually Shah Day. And then when we see another 27, which is, we've got a Zoe Teo.
Right, okay, well, apologies, Shah. Doesn't take away from all the cool stuff that you have been doing. We'll try and get that right
going forward
for the rest of the game.
Sometimes at these university games, you just have repeats of numbers of shirts. I think that's what happens when there's not enough uniforms to go around or double up, so I think that's just what you have to deal with.
UWA is looking a little bit dangerous here, aren't they, Cece?
They are. I think they could make a comeback. Only 2 points off.
I think so.
They've got the downwind this point. I reckon they can break them.
That zone was making it difficult for Monash to do what they had been doing in the previous points. So UWA kind of maybe working out the kinks in their defense. And it is easier to set up a zone when you're starting on defense and you get that time to run down versus midpoint when things are chopping and changing quite quickly.
That's right. Especially when your cup can't catch up and then they decide to transition to a match defense. I think sometimes that could be very confusing and players don't quite catch up to the offensive players and they're all left free, and I think that's always a bit difficult.
Yeah, zone's very difficult for the players in that cup and on the mark, doing a lot of running. But it's working for UWA as the pool goes up. It's a long one. Monash. O'Connor with the disc. Dishy to number 16, Lou. That's Lou. UWA with this zone again. What can Monash do here? They seem to be working it nicely. Out to 10. Forbes, sorry, number 66. O'Connor to Payne. Back to O'Connor. Those two working well on that sideline. Handlers moving it quite nicely. Not seeing much downfield that they like yet, but maybe as we get closer to that end zone, they'll be looking for those overheads or fast throws through the cup. There we go. Great one into Forbes.
Right through the
Standing
cup
in the right
there.
spot.
And that's a goal.
Clean offense there from University of Monash. Sorry, just Monash University. That looked quite smooth from them. None of them looked too rushed. The throws were to the chest, which is very impressive.
We can't quite make out who scored the goal, but that was Payne with the assist. Today is quite the sunny day in Canberra compared to yesterday, which was very cloudy and miserable and cold. We do want to put any reminders out there that if you're in the sun at the moment watching some Frisbee or just having a lunch break, please put on your sunscreen. Look after yourself. It's always important to stay sun safe. I hope all these players have been. I know that sometimes on a long days at a tournament, you can get quite sunburned if you've overestimated your sunscreen's capability.
Definitely as well, and it would probably affect performance too, getting sunburnt and having to play the next day, getting dehydrated as well. So I know that ANU has a sunscreen captain and a vice sunscreen captain.
I think we had a discussion this morning that we both got a little bit sunburn on our face because we overestimated the cloud coverage.
We did. That was very... You would think that I would have learnt by now, living in Australia for my whole life, to put sunscreen on anyway, but I didn't.
To be fair, we were in the shade and it was freezing cold and there was cloud coverage.
It was very cold.
I don't think either of us expected to be just a little bit sunburnt. Nothing too damaging, but...
As we see Monash with the pull here. UWA receiving number 14, Liao. Huge bid there from Bat at Monash, but number 12, Graham, holding on to it. Love the intensity of these teams, and it's a turn. Not able to keep it in her hands is Robson. It's great to see both teams really giving it their all in this game. You can sometimes see at the end of a tournament, and that's a huge bid throw there, and straight into the breadbasket.
I believe that's in the hands of the main guy.
He is the main guy right now as well.
What a celebration.
Great job there from Monash to capitalise on that turn. Catching UWA a little bit offside before they could set up. You can see that defensive positioning there. Probably a few steps behind, not necessarily expecting that long shot to come up, and wasn't quite close enough to contend in that deep space.
It looks like on the line here that most players must be pretty tired if they're all hopping off and sitting down.
Yep, they might be saying, do you want to go on? Do you want to go on?
Or they could just be waiting for the coach to allocate who's on this line.
That could be also true.
But it's always nice to just spectate on the side and come up with little stories.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, taking a few points off, regrouping, so that you can come out 100% intensity is a better idea than running yourself into the ground if one of your teammates has got maybe a little bit more legs.
I personally like playing that style. 100% when you're on, and then when you're resting, you're truly resting. So then the next time you hop on, you play 100%.
And all of these players still giving their all in their final game of this tournament. 9th game, I think, for both teams. So
9th game, looking to get 9th place.
Yes.
Just because you're lower down the rung doesn't mean it's not worth giving it your all to get that placement.
As we see UWA here with the Frisbee. Monash doing a match defense, a little bit of poaching here and there. Maybe trying to bait that long throw. UWA downfield quite far away from the disc, but a great upline throw and grab and a bid from Monash. But once again, UWA, safe hands there. Good jink there from Deakin, and a throw goes up to the end zone and just too high.
The wind picked up just then as well, so that could add some play to that. What I did observe just then was the stack was quite messy. I'm not quite sure. There were people on the far side of the field and a few people in the middle. It wasn't quite a clean stack. Perhaps people just weren't clearing. I'm not sure. We'll have to watch again to see what UWA do the next time they have the offensive point, to see what their strategy there is on their offense.
As we see UWA once again with their zone that has worked for them before. Payne looking for an option. Crashing through the cup is O'Connor and sending it through to number 11, Chin. That was a great choice there from O'Connor. Really opening up the field and making that cup really chase, and it's very hard to catch up. UWA scrambling here. Monash's pace is very high. Payne sends it to the far side of the field and she just can't quite get her hands to it.
She was in a beautiful position though, and that was a good decision by 71 Payne to send it into that corner, but it just didn't quite land the way it was intended to. Oh, just over her fingers there. Unlucky.
Yeah, that was great movement from Monash. They really broke through that cup, and that's when it becomes really hard to keep up with the zone.
I wonder what this offensive stack is. We've got 2 people in this lane, and then we've got 3 offensive people on the other side.
Sometimes, we do it sometimes where you have the stack on the side and you have 2 out in the lane, kind of cutting in a diamond shape.
Oh.
Could be what they're trying to do, as it works for them at first, but unfortunately there's a drop again, and Monash picks it up and sends it straight to the end zone. Forbes coming down with the goal for Monash to break. Score is 7-2 to Monash. UWA working hard but not quite getting that over the line.
I haven't quite played that diamond strategy yet before.
We played it earlier in the year, I think, with my team Factory, where if this is the same thing, you kind of have, if you've got a stack of 5 downfield players, you've got 3 of them kind of stacked to one side, and then 2 players out in the lane, cutting in opposite directions, trying to generate movement to get that first pass off, and then once that happens, those other 3 downfield players can kind of convert into a vertical stack.
I see.
It's a bit of a mix between a horo and a vert, I guess. And it worked. It seemed like it worked for UWA to help them start their, or was it Monash or UWA that were playing?
UWA.
UWA. To start off their movement, but they just, little error there, and Monash took it away.
That's okay. They're still in it. As long as the timer is going, you've got the opportunity to win.
Exactly.
We saw games where other teams clawed back and made it to the top, so I don't see why this one can't be any different.
As we have Monash getting ready for the pull.
And you can't see down the other side, but the whole team on UWA have their hands up, ready for the disc. Hungry to win this point.
They are keeping themselves in the game. Huge pull from Monash there. Might float out. UWA is going to call a break.
And we've got Ling picking up the disc, bringing it to the break. Oh, sorry, the brick point. But what's happening here?
Ling will have to take that, seeing as he put his hand up for the brick, which is the little bit of the rules.
I believe it's because he picked it up.
Maybe.
But that's okay. And then we've just got Liao behind him.
UWA coming out of a stack here, but Monash covering them well with a bit of a bracket to prevent that first cut from getting off. Handlers working hard for UWA. Bit of a collision there. Always dangerous with the upline cut and a downfield player coming together between Liao and Shah of UWA, but seems like everybody is okay. Want to avoid those collisions as much as we can. Sometimes it's hard not to. Getting it back is Liao and sending it long. Beautiful throw. There's a few players underneath it. Monash reads it well this time.
And they're quick to bring it back up to the line and start the play again. Swings and centres it into the middle of the field. Looking for options. Oh, a few collisions there, trying to cut. And that's in the hands of 52 Stock. Oh, but just over her intended player there. And that's okay. That gives UWA a chance to retain possession of their 0 point.
UWA Shah with the first cut. Not quite getting free of that player, but sending it over to Ling. Great grab, but it looks like it might be called out from the sideline. Unfortunate. Really nice grab overhead there.
Very
Turnover.
spirited, very quick. All right, let's see what Monash does with the disc now. I think they're setting up in a horror.
They do look like it.
All bats run straight away off to the end zone.
And
Let's
it's
see.
worked well for them. Bat's there and he's got it.
Beautiful
Awesome
grab from Bat. He's done a few of them over the course of this tournament. We did see that in the other film game of Monash, that he was one of the deep receivers, at least scoring 3 or 4 goals, and from my memory. So no difference now.
Exactly. He's carried that through into this game, helped Monash to their 8-2 lead to take half. Monash playing some great offense from that Horro. Bat taking advantage of his player standing slightly under of him and just going deep straight away. Let's see what UWA can do to claw it back in the next half.
Bichon picks up, and they've got a short field. They've got another goal. It's tied up at 12. I cannot believe what I'm seeing
Can
here.
Lola Dam chase that one down? That is a score for Hartlicker Elferkel. Fantastic run by Julia Love.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge.
And we believe that requires knocking down the paywall.
We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch, and we want them to go viral.
When you become a member, you enable us to improve our working relationships with tournament organisers, events and federations.
And you'll help us to produce live stories for Ultimate fans, and to generate new fans with our enhanced content.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts, and we want to bring you coverage on a more consistent basis. We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Ciao ragazzi, support the community.
Let's subscribe ULTI.TV. There's lots of the videos, posting, everything. Check it out. They are the best one. Woo! If you want to grow Ultimate Sports, become a member of ULTI.TV.
Regardez ULTI.TV.
Deviens un membre d'ULTI.TV et fais grandir ta communauté.
Top ULTI.TV. Dale eroginkime Ultimate Vendromene. Si quieres ayudar a ULTI.TV, puedes ser miembro de ULTI.TV.
Everyone, follow ULTI.TV on Instagram, on YouTube. They've got everything.
Best content.
Like their pictures if you love Frisbee. Just do it.
We're counting on you.
Bli medlem på ULTI.TV.
Became member
of ULTI.TV.
Mamma mia.
Contribue au développement d'Ultimate avec ULTI.TV.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
We want to grow Ultimate.
we want to grow Ultimate. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We have our signature style 2-camera setup,
With thousands of hours of experience,
and our crew is globally dispersed to facilitate coverage everywhere around the world. We can also scale back our broadcast with just one elevated camera, or scale up with 2 fields, 2 cameras, and 2 commentators on each.
we work with local teams and we all have the same mission, to grow the sport and bring it to new people by providing live coverage and news stories.
Become a member today on our Patreon page.
And fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories, ideas and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back to the stream with ULTI.TV. My name is Cecilia and I have Bat here on the line, number 77 for Monash.
Hello.
The one that scored the goal that brought us to half time. How are you today?
I'm doing phenomenal, honestly. I think our team has great vibes, and we're in like just really positive mindset today, so it's a heap of fun.
Beautiful. Do you think you can bring home the 9th place for this tournament?
I hope so. I think we came in hoping to do, I think, quite a bit higher than where we are at the moment, but there's been a lot of competition from so many like diverse unis, so I think this is kind of where we ended up, but I reckon we can take this home. Yeah, we're really feeling it. It's a good day.
And what's your highlight of this tournament so far?
Honestly, probably just all of like the small moments on pitch and like off the field, just with all the teammates. I think it's an incredible group of people, and we've been like building up like over quite a few years as a team and as a clubs, and just where we are now, it's a heap of fun. There's so many like small things to celebrate.
I think you guys have been looking very well out there as a team. You should be very proud of what you've done today and for the rest of the tournament. And we're excited to see what you do in the second half. Thank you for joining us, Bat.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Just hearing from Bat there from the Monash team. As we were saying, that first half really went Monash's way on the scoreboard, bringing it in at 8-2. Some great grabs from both teams. UWA probably, just one pass away from scoring multiple times. So let's see what they can do in the second half. Bring that scoreline closer together and enjoy this last half of their Uni Games campaign.
I think they'll do really well. I think we've seen really good offense from UWA, but it's just at the end there, it just doesn't come to the execution that they intend.
It's been good to see as well both teams using most of their roster, particularly working it through both women and male matching handlers as well, and in the deep space, same happening there. So it's always great when you see that happening in a mixed sport, in mixed ultimate. Knowing that we do play half the season as split gender, so players can have the experience of doing both mixed and split gender teams. But Uni Games, for the past few years at least, has been mixed. I know a few years ago, when I first went to Uni Games, you could go with a women's team and an opens team, or men's opens. But now, focusing on the mixed competition, bringing everybody together. I think everyone has a good time.
I think they absolutely do. It's probably much easier to recruit players of both genders in one team as opposed to 2 separate teams per university, because that's quite a lot of students that have to be playing the sport, and there might not necessarily be that many players to form a squad for each gender.
I think you're right, Cici. I think it means that maybe some of those unis with less players can still bring a team here, get that experience of playing at a high level, and also make a lot of good friends through the competition.
Yes, I think the University of Adelaide is one of those teams for this particular tournament. I think they've got the smallest roster that we've seen so far.
All right, start of the second half. UWA pulling to Monash. It's a big pull. Great start from UWA there. That was thrown by Diaz. Monash moving it quickly. UWA with their zone again, and Monash really knowing that they have to move it fast. That's a great throw there from number 16 for Monash. Lou over to Chin on the far sideline. Monash working it well and a huge bid, but it's still in Monash's hands. They're moving fast. I think they've talked at halftime about some strategy here to work through this UWA zone in the end zone.
Just outside the end zone, and the zippiness has come to a standstill. Now they're really treasuring the disc. I think this is what's happened in the past, and great, beautiful goal there. They took their time right out the end zone, and that's a put in.
I think Monash is very happy with that. Good to see that they see a great celebration. That was probably my favourite one so far, you know, that celebration then.
That was
involved
great.
Someone getting picked up.
That was true with the goal, and also as the, I assume, gun shooting down the players of the team. Not sure if we're allowed to quite say that on the stream.
We'll say it's a water gun.
A water gun,
like
yes.
a Nerf gun.
A Nerf gun.
As Monash with the clean hold shows their skill and experience there. They did have an unfortunate run in the pool play, coming just too low to make it to the quarterfinals. I think it was between them and Macquarie, and they I'm not sure if it came down to points difference or games won, but I know they were really trying to get there. And you can see any of these teams would have been not out of place in the semis and quarters that we had today and yesterday.
Absolutely. Oh, the wind's picking up. I can hear it in my mic.
A little bit more crosswind now. Downwind side is on the closer sideline to the commentating booth. Probably something for the teams to be mindful of.
Let's see if this point has lots of turns or the teams can overcome that. UWA can overcome that and get another point in.
UWA looking here to keep going with that momentum that they managed to find in the first half. Towards the end of the first half, they were looking quite strong. Had a great structure, actually.
A beautiful pull there.
Call downfield. A pick, it seems.
The disc will probably go back to Leo.
He is quite free over there with the Frisbee.
So even if it was a great cut from Openshaw, it'll revert back.
All right, Leo with the around. UWA looking for an option. Nice cut there under number 42. That was DeCress. Great, another break shot from Liao. We've got the disc with UWA, number 19 on the sideline, Pemberton. Back to Liao, those two working well. And just, I thought that UWA might scrape that one up there, but it was
it was just a bit too high for Graham to catch there. But I thought potentially the other player from the stack was going to be able to catch it to save him. Oh, beautiful hand block, but they might talk it out. Could be a foul.
That Monash player might think that he maybe had control of that disc in his hands, in which case we've got a strip, which might have happened.
Or in this case, I think it was a
Inside
foul,
flick.
so it affected his attempt of the grab.
A huge bid there from Monash. So close. Really putting that effort in.
Graham picking up the disc, looking for his options downfield. Oh, nice D there from Koretawaku.
Great D. That was great heads-up defense there, because if she hadn't gone for that disc, I think one of those UWA players would have gotten there and retained possession. But she's earned the turn for her team, giving them another chance to break.
I think I definitely jinxed it by talking about the wind, and so now there's turnover city.
As we see it go up in the air and a little bit shorter than expected. No call.
Graham with the disc. Oh, nice pass over to Pemberton there. He's looking for his options downfield. A nice dump over to Leo.
Over to Graham.
Down the field to number 29, Openshaw. Back into the centering to number 12, Graham to Leo. They're looking for their options downfield. The stack, it looks like a horror downfield there.
It's interesting that UWA is holding their horror this far down the field. You often see teams collapsing, and a huge bid from Monash. stops their flow, and she is happy about that. It's not often that you get a layout bid, and sometimes the first one, I don't know if it's her first one ever, but first one for this game.
And it's on camera too, so she gets to watch it back. I believe going in
there.
That's right. Going into tournaments, you normally have personal goals for yourself, and they can be a little checklist that you have. A layout D is always an amazing one to have. And it looks like there's a turn there, giving UWA
a little bit of a missed throw there.
Leo with the disc, looking down the field. A flick over to Pemberton, back to Leo, and that's a score. It's beautiful to see handlers get the goal sometimes, not just the receivers down the field. That was very hard fought from UWA and were very well deserved.
Another point on the board for UWA.
I believe in that point there, Leo was every second touch. She's the main handler for that line. Being the centre handler in the middle of the field. They did great passes from side to side, centering, swing it to the other side, centering, and then made
As
it
we
in.
look at this replay here on this bid from Lai, huge. Feet off the ground.
Beautiful layout D, and she's very, very excited there. Always love to see it.
Get that passion. I feel like she might have been working towards that through the tournament. As we see another replay of UWA's goal here. Like CC was saying, good to see those handlers getting it in the end zone. Can be quite a hard player to mark when you get a handler that's working through the handler space, but then also going downfield for those goals.
Absolutely. I don't think I've ever done a layout D before.
I don't think I have either, or not a successful one.
I would say I'm more towards a social player, and I believe I don't think I put my body out on the line like some of these ladies have been today, and it's so magnificent to watch.
It is great to watch, great to have it recorded. She can watch that back, give herself some motivation.
Inspire some of the other ladies to give it a shot. I believe when I was doing training to do layouts in general, we would go to the beach or bring a mattress to the fields.
Yes, it's good to practice there when it's a bit softer. My friend, other commentator Cal before was saying that the fields are quite hard and you can graze a bit of skin off on these ones doing layouts, but obviously it's not a deterrent for most of these players.
No, absolutely not. They're representing their university and they're putting it all out there on the field.
As we see the pool coming up, Monash with the Frisbee setting up in their horror. UWA doing a match defense here, very tight on that handler mark, and Monash squeezing that one through somehow.
We've got Bat with the disc looking for his options. Dump back to O'Connor there. O'Connor looking down the field. Nice cut out from 66 Forbes. Forbes looking for options to Bat.
Bat once again, great round. Just trusting that his teammate is going to get there. That was Ling. No, that's Wang, sorry. And Monash with the score. Forbes keeps it in her hands in the end zone. Another point on the board for Monash.
Beautiful put there.
Monash really finding their flow. I think for a while that UWA zone slowed them down a little bit, but kind of throw and go a lot. As soon as they're throwing it, they're already running in the direction that they want to go, which is very hard to keep up with as a defender.
Absolutely, and you can see just earlier on the replay, there was a layout from the University of WA trying to get that defence. They're not cutting anything back, holding anything back, not in order to get that turn, even if it is in the end zone of the other team. And that brings us to 10-3 Monash's way. How many minutes do we have left on the clock? We've got 15 minutes left. Hopefully, University of WA can bring back the game.
Yeah, I think they can definitely, if they can find that flow that they had towards the end of the second half, they can bring this back to Monash and get a few more points on the board, because they were looking quite dangerous.
They were. Sometimes a break can stop your flow. And I think that's what's happened here with University of WA.
I think that's why Monash really wanted to come out of half. You saw how excited they were when they scored that first point. Come out of half strong as UWA receives the pull. Liao under the disc.
And we've got Payne there running hard to get down there.
There's Lai on the mark, putting on a big mark. Number 42, DeCress for UWA. Nice flick there to Shah. Sending it long to his receiver in the end zone, but it's fading different way to what he expected. Monash picking it up. Sending it into the middle. Shah trying to be there, but Monash getting in the way. Monash handlers just working it between them while the downfield figures out what they're doing. A lot of movement. Monash with it on the far sideline. Huge throw, nice big pivot. We've got Payne in the end zone and he's done it. Huge grab and it's not quite in. And they finish it off there. Payne with the great grab. Probably just going slightly over his head, but he got it at the right time.
Beautiful grab from Stock there. Let's see that on the replay. So a nice throw to the receiver, not quite in on the line. And a small throw there to Stock. So you can see there, she's run one way, she's run the other way, back that way. Juke to the receiver and off she goes.
She did well there. It can often be a little bit frantic when someone gets a grab from a long throw and everyone's running through. Often goes in the way of the defense because people are running quite quickly and sometimes you just throw it into a defender unknowingly. Score is 11-3 to Monash in this 9th place game. As we see on the other field, two teams that are going to be fighting it out for the bronze medal warming up, ANU and the University of Tasmania. Both fighting hard in their semis this morning, but unfortunately going down.
It's unfortunate we didn't get to see UTAS in any of these live streamed games.
It is, unfortunately. I think it's worked out pretty well that we've gotten not too many double ups with teams, but UTAS not ending up with a stream game due to the way the draw works out. But I'm sure they'll be firing ahead of this bronze medal match, seeing whether they can take down the home uni, ANU.
We know who you're cheering for. It's a home game for you, as you do attend here, Katie.
Definitely cheering for ANU in that one. As we see Monash with the pull rolling out the sideline. Going to be putting UWA in a trickier position here.
Lynn with the disc, bringing it to the sideline. And it looks like a zone.
So UWA bringing another handler back to respond to this zone put on by Monash. It's going to be tricky for them to get out of this pocket.
It feels like they're stuck in that corner. They haven't had any movement so far.
It is in a little bit of the downwind position here.
But they are looking.
And a huge block there from Monash. And I think that's what they were aiming for.
That's right, main guy. Good read on main guy. They were very close. So Huang with the disc, down to number 16.
And Forbes is there again.
Beautiful goal.
Monash looking good.
I think their strategy played off. Going with a very, very tight zone. In some cases, it might have been a double team, but I think that's because it wouldn't be that case because there was another UWA player right there next to the person with the disc, so they're well within their right to be that up close and personal if there's more than one player. It's not quite 2 people on the disc, marking the player on the disc.
I think so. So for anyone watching that doesn't know what a double team is, it's when there's more than one player within 3 meters of the disc. So you're only allowed that one player on the mark. But if there are other players coming through from the offensive team, then of course the defense can stand as close as they like to that player. UWA maybe just not recognizing the need to pop through that cup and crash through the wall there to try and get those little movements to break a space through the wall of the cup, meaning that they had to try and kind of send it almost into the cup, and it worked out in Monash's favour there with the D.
On to the comments on the live stream. It looks like we've got lots of UWA fans who think they can do a comeback train. I'd hope so too, but there's only 8 minutes left on the clock. That would be 1 point a minute. I'm not quite sure if that's possible. Maybe
Not impossible.
Not impossible, but it'll be very hard.
Very difficult. Let's see if they can score this one here. Take one away from the break train that Monash is on at the moment in this second half.
I think that there's just because you don't win a game doesn't mean there's personal goals you can't achieve, or sometimes it's just the little wins.
As we see UWA picking up number 1, Ling.
Century.
Liao. Over to number 29, Openshaw. Looking for, doesn't see Graham there right in front of him, but he was looking behind. Monash doing well to mark there. Graham, just unfortunate bubble there. Great cut from him, but unable to control the disc. Monash with a break chance again. As we see Monash swinging it between the handlers. Nice sharp downfield flick.
Oh, number 12, Graham there looking for a foot block.
They're always good when those happen.
Yep, it would be great if it was caught on camera too.
Sending it along to receiver in the end zone. Will she get there? Running out of legs at this point in the tournament, I think.
And I think it also went just outside the back of the end zone there, so giving up was a fine idea to save your legs for these last few points.
UWA with the disc now.
We've got Ling picking up the disc, bringing it forward to the front of the end zone. It looks like we've got a tight stack in the middle there by the UWA team. Just a regular match defense from Monash. Liao with the disc over to Graham. Graham looking at his options. Aren't really any cuts out there, but UWA have found the space. Down to 42, Decress. Decress looking for her options. Looking for a dump. Back to Graham.
Great patience there from Decress. Can sometimes be a bit overwhelming if you've got a lot of people calling for the disc. She's done well. Liao with the disc now on the far side. Great undercut there from Openshaw. And keeps it in his hands, but maybe there was a pick. He was very open. You do always wonder when there's a player so open like that, whether a pick has happened.
In that case, I think I witnessed that pick, so there was one there. But in this case, the play still stands, the throw still stands, and the player just gets to catch up. Oh, nice bid to the... Oh!
Great grab there from UWA, and a goal.
Beautiful.
Grab from Ganesan. Not sure who scored the eventual goal, but close for Monash. Didn't quite complete that D. And we've seen that multiple times throughout the tournament, where teams aren't able to catch the D, and then the offensive team keeps possession.
That's right. That was great teamwork. I think just about everyone touched the disc on that point by that line there. We still haven't got a name yet of who scored the point, but we'll get back to you shortly. What number are you? Oh, and that was Ling with the goal. All right. We get to see a UWA defensive point now.
We do. I wonder if they'll pull out that zone. It was looking quite effective for them earlier in the game, and there's still that slight breeze here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come down in that 3-person or 4-person cup, try and trap that disc. Force those Monash players to play short ball Frisbee.
I think they haven't had, as you said earlier in the game, they haven't had that many opportunities to come out on defence, and changing halfway through, let's say they do get a turn, it's still quite difficult to execute a defensive strategy that's not regular match when there's a turn. So I'm very excited to see what they do here.
Me too.
Game's not over yet.
As we have the pull coming up from UWA, number 16 Lynn with a good pull. Monash picking up, setting up a bit of a vert stack.
It's match defense.
UWA opting for match. Trying to get those one-on-one matchups as they send it long, and there's 2 players in the end zone.
Forbes versus Lynn.
Forbes might have the better read on it, and she does. I think she knew that was going to float slightly toward the left-hand side of the field. She's been down there before, and she just managed to get that read on the UWA player.
That's a beautiful grab. I think Forbes has been working very hard for this Monash team. I think she's gotten a lot of goals for them this game.
It would be interesting to have some stats, see the amount of points scored for each player and assists, but I'm sure that if we did, Forbes would have a lot of them in this matchup.
I think the players will be able to go home and watch this back and see what happens and then keep stats for themselves if that's important as a team. Sometimes coaches on the sideline are keeping track of what's happening as well, just to give players that information and feedback after every day of the tournament, or just after the tournament in general, if that's part of the coach pack that you get.
UWA here looking to put another one on the board.
I believe this will be their last point. The siren went off just earlier.
Okay.
And so I'm rooting for UWA to get this one.
Would be a nice way for them to finish off what has been a great game.
Absolutely.
And a great tournament, with the final coming up shortly after this match. So stay tuned. That will be Wollongong University versus the University of Melbourne. And I think it's going to be a tightly fought match. So we see the pull coming up from Payne for Monash. Great pull there, deep into UWA's territory. UWA once again setting up in their vert. Graham first cut. He's been really solid from that first cut position in this game. To Huang. Liel looking for it again. Another player that has really shown. And Shah. Awesome work there. And UWA, a clean hold to end the game. I'm sure that they'll be really happy with that one.
What a great game. That was great Frisbee, great vibes. Both teams very happy to be here, having a great time on the field, putting it all out there all the way up till the end. Monash takes home the win for 9th place.
Awesome job. Great job to both teams. Congrats on a fantastic tournament. Hope you've had fun here in Canberra. So just see that replay there.
Stay tuned for the finals upcoming in the next game. It'll be myself, Cecilia, and Katie here commentating.
Good job. And that was a victory to Monash, 13-5 in UWA for the 9th place playoff here at UniSport Nationals. Thanks for watching.
ULTI.TV.